What up, nerds? And welcome back to Lily's Ranger Talk. I am Lily with Lily's Ranger World, and this is the start of our Super Sentai color ranking series. Woohoo! So, what we will be doing is I'm going to be ranking all the characters from every Super Sentai season that I've watched, based on their Ranger color, from who I like the least to who I like the best. Because really, there isn't, well, that's not necessarily true. There isn't necessarily a character that I hate in Super Sentai necessarily, but there are definitely some who I'm not that crazy about. Hate's a very strong word. I reserve that for Kina Major. I will say this though, there is one color that there are enough where I could rank them, but I will not, cannot, and should not do, and that is the Orange Rangers. And here's why. So, I honestly really like three of the four ones that I've watched. I haven't watched Battle Fever J, henceforth I can't really rank Battle Kozak. I think it's the orange one. I always confuse Battle Kozak with Battle Kenya. Um, but anyways, it really would just be Zero Bird, which by the way I learned his name was Bud, not Birdo. Um, in last place mainly because he's just forgettable. And then Stinger, Akira, and Gamba all just fighting for number one. I cannot pick between these three people, and you will not make me. That being said, today's color we're going to start off with is we're going to be doing the Green Rangers. And I chose green because green's one of my favorite Ranger colors, which I never really realized how many Green Rangers I like, both in Super Sentai and Power Rangers, until I started my page and I watched more Power Rangers and also Super Sentai. And when I realized how I really like a lot of the Green Rangers, I would do this for Power Rangers, but I feel like we all know who my number one is, and who cares about the rest. Um, that being said, we're starting with green also because I need to solidify every other color because I just added the characters from Kaki Ranger and Boom Ranger into my list of other Ranger colors, and I just want to make sure, I am good with those. That being said, I don't think green has changed at all, so, because I did this a few years ago on my Instagram page, Lily's underscore Ranger World, if you guys want to give it a follow. And it's pretty, I don't think there's been a Green Ranger up until Goziger, and I'm not ranking him until next year. So I don't think it has changed because I don't think there's been a Green Ranger in any of the Sentai seasons that I've watched between Tokiger and now, which is weird. That being said, speaking of which, please keep in mind with this list also, all of these characters I have not written notes for, so I am going off of my memory. So please keep that in mind. I'm also going to be trying something new and putting up the character profiles that I've seen growing up. You guys probably know what I'm talking about, where it has the picture of the character and then the ranger suit and their name. You know what I'm talking about. If I can find them, that is. And I'm going to try and put those up. So, editing this video, this is going to be the most editing I've done. So please keep in mind if I'm not 100% accurate. It's just because, doing this stuff is a little new to me and a little tricky for me, but I want to make this video, a little different from other previous videos. That being said, I do have an honorable mention, and that is Sion from Time Ranger. Now, the reason why he's an honorable mention is because I've never watched the season fully, and I've talked about this before. I probably never will, just because of my devotion to Time Force. I don't think I'll ever watch the season in full. Because they're very similar seasons, but I know they're also very different too. That being said, I did watch the Sion focus episodes, And I do really like him as a character. Again, this is just based off of what I have watched, so take that with the grainiest of salt. And also, if it wasn't for Xenon, obviously I wouldn't have my favorite Power Ranger of all time, Trip Regis. Woohoo! I know that last name is not necessarily official, but it should have been. Anyways, um, but yeah, I really like this focus episodes. With that being said, let's move on to the actual list. So at number 7, from Zyuohger, we have Tusk. Now, I think I've mentioned this before, but out of all the Zyuohgers, I found him to be the most forgettable, pretty much. I legit do not remember a single thing about him other than he likes books. Like, even with, like, some of the other forgettable characters from Zyuohger with the zoom-ins, like, Amu, for example. I can even remember, like, an episode about her. Like, I think she had, like, this kind of kung fu episode where she was, like, fighting, like, one of the monsters. But with Tusk, I legit cannot remember a single thing. I think, like, now that I'm thinking about it, I think he had, like, something with his father. He's honestly just a boring character and a forgettable character. Um, I've watched, and granted, this is a very old video from TokuCast, and Tusk was at the bottom of their worst screen list, and I think they mentioned that he was a terrible actor. Personally, I didn't think he was that bad, but also, I'm. This is coming from someone who also acts. I can't really tell, like, good actors from bad actors. So, there's that. Unless it's blatantly obvious, like, I don't know, a certain character that rhymes with boy. Um, but, yeah. I just don't remember much about Tusk. It also could be because it's been 4 years since I watched Zyuohger. But still, like, even with everyone else, I can remember at least one episode about them. Tusk, I cannot. Number 6, we have from TokuGer, Hikari. Again, I don't want to say he's as forgettable as Tusk, because he wasn't. I can definitely remember more things about him than I could with him. But I also think that could also be attributed to the fact that I watched TokuGer's not recently, like almost 2 years now. That being said, like I said, I remember things about him. I remember his little detective episodes, and I think there was more than one. I think there was at least two. He had a focus episode with Kagura. I remember his little. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's called a Kadema. He's definitely the most calm one out of everyone in TokuGer's. Specifically, I'm thinking Tokachi, Kagura, right? Mia was kind of calm too, but not as calm as, like, Hikari. And I think that is good for a show like TokuGer's where you have all these, loud and. I mean, I don't know if loud's the right word, but definitely more animated characters. And I think that is a really good thing. And I do really like Hikari as a character, and I definitely like him more than Tusk. But they're simply just 5 Rangers that I liked more, hence why he's at number 6. And never mind, I was gonna say he's at. I'm working on, and this will be another video in the future, where I rank every Ranger in the teams in their own teams on who I like the most and who I like the least. And I forgot that I have still yet to rank TokuGer's because it's hard. This one's hard. But yeah. Let's move on to the top 5. At number 5, from Magi Ranger, Makito. Again, this is going to be where my memory is the most fuzzy because it's been 4 years since I've watched Magi Ranger, but I just remembered when it came to Makito that I liked him from the first episode. He's the oldest of his family. He just wants to take care of his family, and with that, he gives up on his dreams. But a thing that I always think about is that scene where he speaks fluent English, and Tsubasa just like shocked because he's like, "I didn't know you could speak English." And he has this garden. Oh my, he. So when it comes to the Mystic Force and Magi Ranger teams, I like them all equally, with the exception of Makito. I like him more than I like Xander. I'm sorry. I don't hate Xander by any means, but the more recent Power Ranger seasons I watch, and the more Green Rangers I know, the less I kind of like Xander. But my love for Makito stays the same. It's a shame that I've heard that his actor's not that great of a person. I don't know that much in detail. Um, and that he doesn't like Makito, which also sucks because I think he's all in all a really good person, a really good fighter. I love his suit, but I love all the Magi Ranger suits. And like a good older brother. I'm pretty sure I wrote this back when I did this ranking on my Instagram that he would be an older brother that I'd be really happy to have, which technically I have two of them who are very loving and protecting of me. But all in all, I need to watch Magi Ranger again because I love Makito, and really I liked a lot of the Magi Rangers, but some of them, as you will see when we continue this this series, just because of other circumstances, I had to rank them lower. Here's a surprise for everybody. Guess who number 4 is? It's Senna from Kia Major. Spoiler alert. This is the highest any Kia Major will go. um, I I'm just gonna tell you this right now. Spoiler alert, I'm pretty sure almost every single Kia Major except for one is dead last. I mean, I guess two if we count Senna, but this is the highest any Kia Major will go. Um, I made it clear in my Kia Major review, or not my review, my Kia Major rant. I don't know what to call that Kia Major video. Is it a review? Is it a rant? I don't know. But I made it clear in that video that Senna was the only character that didn't piss me off. Completely. Because there's some who kind of piss me off. There's some that I just do not like. But with Senna, I liked her a lot. I liked her character. I liked her personality. I liked her focus episodes. I liked when she helped Takemichi with those little marshmallows, cause that was just very nice and sweet, and I like her relationship with her Kiyame Stone, which that sounds weird, but like I like their dynamic, if you know what I mean. What specific focus episodes do I like from her? I like when she cloned herself, and then also when her personality split, and then they had to hug to like come back. Those are like the only two that are like standing out for me. It's almost like I should watch Kia Major again, but I don't want to. Don't make me. At number 3 from Go Kaiger is Dawn, aka Doc. Now, I mentioned Sion in this video. What I'm not 100% sure if I mentioned is, even though I know he is Trip's counterpart, and they are very similar or not very similar, they're similar in some ways, but personally, I don't know. And again, this is just based on what I've watched of Time Ranger. I don't see like Trip and Sion being that similar in terms of like their fighting, which not not that they're fighting, but like, I don't know. I just didn't find them that similar. When I watched Gokaiger for the first time, and when I was watching Dawn, specifically, I actually was thinking, like, oh, he kind of reminds me of Trip. He's very technical. I don't think he made Navi. No, I don't. I'm 99% sure that he did not build Navi like Trip built Circuit. Um, which another difference from Sion. I don't recall Sion building. I don't know the Circuit's counterpart's name, but I don't think he made him. But anyways, Don really stood out to me, and he's again a really good balance from Luca, Joe, and Captain Marvelous, because he's one of the other three other Sentai Gokaigers who are kind of nice and sweet and good people? Question mark. Um, that might be debatable. I specifically love the episode where he had to fight on his own, and it was up to him, and he did it, and that I even think in that episode he got his wanted bounty up, because I think at the time I don't remember all of their wanted bounties, like off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure that Dawn had the cheapest. Like even Guy, who was fairly new to the team, had more of a value than Dawn did, if I'm remembering this correctly. Speaking of Guy, another episode I love is when those two just fight in front of Ninjor and Ninjor. That's Power Rangers. Ninja Man! And also, I Am, and at the end of that, those two just collapse into her lab. It's a really nice image. I'm pretty sure I have a screenshot of that because I want to edit it at some point. Which I really should do that. But overall, Don is a really great character. I enjoy him a lot. He does remind me more of Trip than his own counterpart does. And we should consider that a compliment, because I don't know if I would want to compare Don to his counterpart. Not that Jake's a bad character, not as bad as other Megaforce characters, but you know what I mean. I'm gonna stop talking about Power Rangers now. Ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary pals, welcome back to Is It Q Ranger Bias? I'm your host, Lily, and we're discussing number 2 on our Green Ranger list, Hammy from Yuchu Sentai Q Ranger. Is it Q Ranger Bias or not? Let's find out together. I looked up royalty-free music for this, so I hope that was funny for you guys. But yes, at number 2 from Q Ranger, it is Hammy, our first official green Super Sentai Ranger. She probably led the way for Izzy, if I'm being honest. I don't know, probably not. She got a lot of focus episodes in the beginning, and I really like her spunk and her little catchphrase. She would always go, awesome! At least in my, in my subs, they were awesome. I don't know what it is in other subs. I want to watch Q Ranger again, because I am struggling to remember, like, focus episodes about her, but I do know she also got the like after movie for Q Ranger was focused on her, because she became evil, because she's a little ninja. She's, like I said, she's very fun. She's a character I would love to see come back in some capacity, and I remember why I ranked her so high, because one of my favorite moments is from like the mini high school series, where she just would slap the daylight out of everyone else. And she was the only girl there, so it was just so funny to see her, like, smacking all the guys. Even, like, Katara, who's, like, a little kid, she's, like, No, no, no. But yeah, great character. I love her. That's why she's at number 2. Now, is it Q Ranger bias or not? Probably a little bit of both. And then number 1, one of my favorite Green Rangers who I don't talk about so much. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce his name correctly because I don't talk about him enough. Sekuya from Lupat. This so when I initially started Lupat, probably just like everyone else, I didn't really like the Peta Rangers that much because I feel like with Lupat in particular, you either root for one team or the other, at least at first. And I know for me, I was definitely rooting for the Lupin Rangers at first because I wasn't really crazy about the other Rangers. But I liked Sekuya right from the start. Like, he was my favorite. He was the goofy one. Again, because I didn't watch Deca Ranger, he kind of reminds me of Bridge from SPD. My favorite episode there's 2 of them. One of my favorite episodes from him is when he is doing like the aerobic stuff. And he's saying, "Oh, I'm training people how to fight," and then he just goes in all confident in this very cool spandex like leotard thing, and he just gets so into it, and it is so funny to see. It's one of my favorite scenes in Lupin Ranger / Patu Ranger Lupat. And then another one, and this might be slightly controversial. I know cross-dressing is a bit controversial. But I personally did find it funny. Mainly just because he was going along with everything in this and when they were filming like that Pet Ranger movie. That he was even like comfortable with cross-dressing. Like, he was doing a lot. And also I think he is the heart of the team. He kind of humbles Kichiro and Tikasa a little bit. Like, in terms of like not trying to be serious all the time. We'll talk about Tikasa when we get to Pinks, but because that's not necessarily true of her. I also really liked his crush on Yumika. That's her name, right? It's been a hot second. Yeah, it's Yumika. Um, but yeah, I liked their like relationship. At first, she was kind of like standoffish around him, like, "Oh, I don't like you, go away." But she even warms up to him eventually. I wish they became a couple. I get why they didn't. It's kind of hard. Um, but yeah, that is it for my Rangers. Who are your favorite Green Rangers? Please let me know in the comment section down below. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, and let me know which color I should do next. We got a whole bunch of them to do. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, it is Lilies_Ranger World. Who, sorry, I had a little hiccup there. For more Ranger discussions. With that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.